At my wedding, my sister, who always needs to be the center of attention, brought out a cake and announced her pregnancy to steal the spotlight. I was prepared for her antics and said, "Wait a moment, there's someone important missing." The room fell silent, and now I'm being blamed for the breakdown of my sister's marriage. 3 days ago, I married my boyfriend Jason after 5 years together. My bratty sister Allison, 26, was attending, and honestly, I had a gut feeling she'd try something. She's always been like this. At my college graduation, she announced her engagement. At my bridal shower, she showed up with a brand new car and made everyone come outside to see it. She just can't handle anyone else having a moment. About a week before the wedding, my baker called me sounding nervous. She said Allison had contacted her privately, requesting a second cake for the wedding day, a pregnancy announcement cake. Allison told the baker that I was the one who wanted this surprise cake, but that she should only contact Allison about it, not me. Here's the kicker. Allison offered to pay double what I was paying just to keep the baker quiet. Thankfully, my baker had actual ethics and decided to tell me the truth. As soon as she told me, I put two and two together. Allison was planning to hijack my wedding with a pregnancy announcement. I could have easily uninvited her right then, but I was so furious that she couldn't let me have this one day without making it about herself. So I decided to get ahead of her. I called Jason immediately and told him what was happening. Then I made a few phone calls of my own. On the day of the wedding, everything went perfectly during the ceremony. We moved to the reception and were about to cut our wedding cake when Allison suddenly stood up and announced she had something important to share. She signaled to the baker, who reluctantly brought out the second cake, a huge pregnancy announcement cake with blue and pink decorations. Everyone gasped and immediately started congratulating her and her husband Mark. My parents were the absolute worst about it. They literally started crying tears of joy and completely abandoned me to swarm around Allison. At least some of my relatives had enough sense to stay by my side, clearly uncomfortable with how inappropriate this was, but most people gathered around her, making a huge fuss about the baby news. After a few minutes of chaos, she looked at me with fake concern and said, "Oh, we should probably get back to your wedding now. Sorry for the interruption." The way she said it made my blood boil, but I kept my cool and stayed focused on my plan. I smiled sweetly at her and said, "Allison, I'm so happy for you. This is such wonderful news." She looked surprised that I was being nice about it. Then I paused and added, "But wait, hold on a second. Someone really important is missing from this celebration. We can't properly congratulate you without them here." The room went completely silent. People looked confused. Allison's smile faltered. That's when I gave the signal, and my special guest walked through the door. It was Derek, Allison's ex-boyfriend from 2 years ago, the guy she supposedly broke up with when she got serious with Mark. Her face went from smug to ghost white in about 2 seconds flat. Mark looked between them, completely confused about why this random guy was at our wedding. I let the silence hang for a moment before I spoke. "Derek, thank you so much for coming. I thought it was important that you be here for this announcement, since, well, according to these text messages from last month, you might want to know about this pregnancy too." The room exploded. Allison tried to deny everything, but I'd done my homework. After the baker's call, I'd hired a private investigator who'd been following her for a week. Turns out she'd been sneaking around with Derek for the past 4 months. The evidence was undeniable. Photos of them at hotels, romantic dinners, everything. Derek actually didn't even know Allison was pregnant until that moment. His face showed genuine shock. Mark demanded to see my phone, and when he did, he just stood there frozen. Then he quietly took off his wedding ring, set it on Allison's pregnancy cake, and walked out without saying a word. My parents tried to scream at me for ruining everything, but several relatives shut them down, pointing out what Allison had done. Now my family is completely divided. Half think I went too far, half think Allison got what she deserved. My parents aren't speaking to me, but Jason thinks I'm a legend, and honestly, that's all that matters.